here's ChatGPT. You probably know ChatGPT well. It's going to take all our jobs. But right now, it's going to help me with my job, because I want ChatGPT to tell me how to beat the 2002 RPG Morrowind. Give me detailed step-by-step instructions as well as side goals that are well explained. Bam! Ooh, it even gave me a recommendation for Atronach birth sign. That's wild. So we're going to do a Dark Elf Mage then. It wants me to do a Dark Elf Mage or Stealth class. I suppose. Tips for... Oh, it expects me to read this entire thing before I even start. Okay, that's fine. I will do that then. I'm going to put this on my other monitor and I'll keep it open and use it as I need it and follow this guide. I guess I'll divide this into chapters. So, I need to finish my character creation. It wants me to choose my race, class, and birth sign. I have to collect supplies in the Census and Excise office. I know what it means by that. And explore the town for golden items. So, stealing Fargoth's stash in the tree stump. It's a little bit vague. Yeah, a little bit more vague than I was hoping. But I do know what it's saying. Okay, giving this another look, I think I might run into some difficulty. The AI is skipping over some steps. So what I'm going to try to do is just tell it to elaborate a little bit more on each of these bigger steps, and maybe it'll work. Okay, I have done that. I am going to also help the AI by just referring to their response, their initial response, as just the plan. That way I can just refer back to it at any time with my prompts. It wants me to make a Dark Elf. They suggest this for balanced magic and combat, so that's good. And there's a lot of fire spells that get thrown around, so the resistance to fire actually does help a lot. I agree with the AI so far. This is good. And I also decided to go with this class that they decided to just prepare for me. The Shadowblade class. It wants stealth as a specialization. Cool. Favorite attributes are agility and intelligence. Fine, that sounds like pretty good for a mixed fighter mage. And the major skills are short blade, security, sneak, mysticism, light armor, illusion, alteration, marksman, speechcraft, and mercantile. I think that's a pretty good build. I think this should work pretty all right. For the birth sign as well, up above, it told me to go for the Atronach like 100%. So that's what I did. It also tells me to loot through the Census and Excise office, so that's exactly what I do. I talked to Salus Gravius. He gives me that package. Yep. This is all pretty standard. Here's something that's weird, though. Step 3.1, loot the abandoned warehouse. I could not find the abandoned warehouse. There was a locked house behind Arel's trade house. Maybe that's what it was referring to. So I did break into the houses behind Arel's trade house and looted them. I thought possibly they meant the Census and Excise warehouse as well. So I broke into the Census and Excise warehouse and stripped everything of value that I could out of there. It just gives very specific things that are meant to be in the warehouse, and I didn't see it. Not to mention these hidden items in underwater and nearby barrels. I don't know what it was talking about. I think the AI is already starting to show some cracks, but I am just going to continue. Stealing from Fargoth's stash. I asked locals about Fargoth, and you'll get the quest Fargoth's hiding place. Again, not exactly how it works. I did talk to Fargoth and give him back his ring as soon as I left the office. And I did this because that actually gives Arel a disposition bonus to you, and you can get some better deals when you're trading things with him. Again, I didn't do that because the AI told me to do it. I did it out of habit, and I'm going to start trying to avoid doing things that I just do routinely out of habit, because I want the AI to tell me exactly what to do. So while walking around town and asking people about Fargoth, I did run into Hiskar in the second story of Arel's Trade House and talked to him about the missing money. And then I got the quest for Fargoth's hiding place. Because I was just kind of clicking on random things that people were saying, I think it counts and it's close enough. As it recommends here, I also sold some stuff to Arel. In the first prompt under number 3, Becoming Rich, it mentions Creeper, the scamp in Caldera that you can sell items to for full price. So I took that as the AI giving me the blessing to use Creeper as a merchant. It does mention buying a scroll of Ondisi's unhinging, and that's actually what I used to unlock the door to the Census and Excise warehouse. And it does mention that it's optional once you loot Fargoth's stash. You don't actually need to return to Hiskar to turn in the gold. You can just keep it. This is also where the cracks are starting to show again. I went to go talk to the lighthouse keeper about her missing lover, and then I found the body, but the ring is not on the body. Interestingly enough, it did tell me to do the cave that is just near the Siltstrider and Satanine, so that's what I did. I ran through that cave and looted it, which there was a lot of value in there. And I did notice that it says there are slaver keys in here, so you can use them to free the slaves as an optional morality decision, which I liked. So with that, I'm ready to head off to Balmora, and right here it just tells me to use the Siltstrider to pay a small fee and travel to Balmora. There were a couple side goals it presented. I did not buy a mortar and pestle to start making potions early. I tend to save that for later. Unless the AI were to tell me, like, oh, you need to grab 2 ingredients and make a potion and drink it for this. I don't want to make potions. As well as disposition training, I didn't really focus on that because Arel's disposition was around 80 when I was talking to him, so the prices I was getting from him were fine enough. I did pay for a couple of levels in medium armor before I left to get my endurance up. So that's part 1 done. After that, I told the AI to expand on part 2 of the plan. It went back here again to travel to Balmora. It gave me the option to either use the Siltstrider or to walk. It already told me to take the Siltstrider in part 1, so I just took the Siltstrider. Finding Caius was, I've been there a million times, but the directions it gave were fine. I think these directions could have been a little bit better, but I think they were clear enough that you just eventually wander around to find it. We have the normal conversation with Caius, joining the Blades, whatnot, giving him my first orders, which is he gives me some money and tells me to go not be a greenhorn, which is great. The AI tells me to then join 4 different factions. The Mages Guild, which is great for the teleportation between the guild halls. The Fighters Guild, which is good for some combat quests, some gold, as well as gear. And the next option, the Thieves Guild. They want it for stealth quests, fencing, and lockpicks. I don't really understand why they included fencing as a thing. In Morrowind, anyone would buy your goods if they were stolen, as long as they weren't that person's goods. So that's just a fake lead, and it's not super concerning, but seeing some of the previous mistakes, it's making me worry that I might not be able to finish this. But we'll keep going and find out. So as the AI says here, Caius recommends leveling up before proceeding, and we should use the time to train skills and sleep in beds to level. The AI also presents me with some guild quests I should complete, so I should start some of the earlier Thieves Guild quests, the Fighters Guild quests, and the Mages Guild quests. I can also buy some lockpicks and probes, some alchemy gear, or some basic spells. So I did go and buy some basic spells. I went into the temple because I know that's where you can buy Mark and Recall, as well as Civi Intervention, and I have Mysticism as one of my major skills, so these spells shouldn't fail every time I try to cast them. It does mention here again, Creeper, the scamp in Caldera, reachable via guild guide. Again, I'm taking this as the AI's blessing for me to actually use Creeper. Before moving on to part 3, I wanted to make sure that I completed all the quests the AI wanted me to finish before I started the main quest. So it wanted me to do the first 2 quests for the Fighters Guild, killing the cave rats in Drarane Thelis's house, as well as killing the egg poachers in the Shulk egg mine. It does also have an option for completing the 3rd quest in the Fighters Guild mission. I did not want to do it just because I thought it would be a little bit too difficult, and I wanted to move on with the other quests, because collecting mushrooms and planting the fake soul gem for the Mages Guild are very easy. All of the mushrooms here that Ajira wants, you can get in Seijin as you're just running around. The fake soul gem is also very good to do because Galbadir leaves her desk unguarded and you can just snatch every single soul gem on there, as well as the limeware platter, and Creeper buys all of those items. This is big money. The flowers are also not that difficult to get. When I checked my inventory, I actually had everything here, which was great. I elected to do the final quest in this chain for Ajira as well, just because it would let me rank up in the Mages Guild a little bit more. And then moving on to the Thieves Guild, I complete the first 2 duties here. The first one is to retrieve a diamond from Necralia of Whitehaven. There's a chest she has upstairs that she has diamonds in, so it's not too difficult. The second quest, the key to Nerano Manor, was a little bit more difficult. I didn't steal the key directly from Andres Nerano as the AI told me to, because I just looked at my journal and saw that it told me there was somebody in the local council club that had a key. So I just went straight over there. It took me a really long time to convince the guy to give me the key, but it happened eventually. It did say in the last prompt that I should join House Hlalu since it was located in Balmora and you can make some money, so I did. The first quest really wasn't that difficult. The person that lets you join House Hlalu in Balmora tell you that your voice sounds a lot like somebody else's voice, so they put a helmet on you and send you off to Aldrun to go intercept a package and take it back to House Hlalu instead of wherever it was meant to go in House Redoran. I forgot to do the next quest here as well. After that, it tells me to get some training and make some money. The next thing I asked is how I should level the character, and really the only thing I did with this information, because it provided very incorrect information. It says you want to raise 3 skills governed by 1 attribute, 3 different skills, and it will give you +5 to that skill. That is not correct. It wasn't like that in Oblivion either. You want 5-5-1 most of the time for long-term power. That is also incorrect. That is only if you are leveling luck with that +1, since luck doesn't govern any skill directly. It governs all of them indirectly. So instead, I came up with another question, just where should I be leveling first? And it tells me level 1 through 5, I should be focusing on endurance, agility, and intelligence. And I took that as sort of a guide of how my stats are ranked and in which order I should get these up to level 100. So it wants endurance, agility, intelligence, then a willpower, speed, strength, followed by personality. And anytime I get a level after that, I can just stick a point into luck. It does mention here in the advanced strategy for controlled skill increases that MISC skills do not count towards your level progress. So it tells you should focus on those. I get my level up to around level 5 and I follow the stats in order of importance that the AI marked. And now I'm ready to start taking some orders from Caius. So, in part 1, I need to head over to Hasfat Antibolus. He's in the basement of the Fighters Guild. Of course, he wants something, so he wants us to go to... Oh my god, how do I say that word? He wants us to get a Dwemer puzzle box from Arkenthond, which is a Dwemer ruin that is pretty close to Balmora. You also pass Fort Moonmouth over there, so it's kind of nice to have that marked on the map. The AI says nothing about the NPC that guards the bridge, but I do the classic constantly strafing ability that your character has against magic and dodge the spells that he shoots. There's not much more here. It mentions the things that you find in Arkenthond are mainly going to be bandits and smugglers, possibly dormer constructs, but those aren't until later. So I just head straight to the puzzle box location, and I only loot items off of the bodies of enemies because the AI did not tell me to explore the ruin more deeply. The second mission that Caius gives us is to go talk to Sharn Gromuzgob in the Mages Guild. All you have to do is head over to an ancestral tomb and pick up a skull. This is also where the AI recommends I be at least level 4 or 5 and have an enchanted weapon in order to deal with ghosts and other spirits. The magic weapon that Sharn gives you is a short blade, and since short blade is one of my major skills, I have absolutely no problem making my way through the tomb in order to recover the skull. And she hands over her papers without any incident. Moving on to part 4. Caius sends you to Vivec. This is the third mission where you actually need to talk to 3 different people in Vivec. But the problem is, the only person that the AI tells you to talk to is Maramilo. It tells me to go talk to Maramilo in the Library of Vivec, which is the lower wasteworks of the Temple Canton. That's not true. It's called the Halls of Wisdom or the Halls of Justice. I suppose it could be considered a lower wastework, but it's misleading. And then the game just wants you to run over to Jobasha's rare books and buy Progress of Truth, and then talk to Caius. And then Caius will send you to the Urshulaku camp. This is not true. There are 2 other NPCs in Vivec that you need to talk to in order to advance this quest, but I tried a bunch of different prompts. I told it that part 4 seems incomplete. Are you sure this is everything? I asked it again. This still doesn't seem complete. I recall a mission where the character is sent to the 6th house base and contracts Corprus. I was a little bit out of order here, but I was just trying to get the AI to prompt something different. And again, my mission in Vivec did not end after bringing Caius Progress of Truth. What did I miss? It just spits out the same response. I met with Miramilo in Vivec and returned to Caius, but he wanted me to talk to Hulia as well. What did I miss? I prompt the AI with the exact name of an NPC that I need to talk to, but I still get the same response. Again. I cannot progress. Caius is still telling me to go back to the city of Vivec and talk to more people, not just Maramilo. Once again, the same response. And this run is kind of dead in the water. The AI is not saying anything about meeting with Hulia in the Black Shulk Corner Club, nor is it talking about the Khajiit that I have to meet in the sewers. I think this is where the run is dead. But I'm going to give it another try, because the AI is pretty impressive with what it can tell you to do, and I think maybe if I just give it another shot, it might be able to come up with the things I'm trying to get it to come up with. So, here we go. I will start a new client because I don't want these responses to poison what the AI is telling me to do when I reopen it. So, here I go. Wish me luck. Okay, back again. I'm going to try to change the prompt a little bit. I'm going to ask the AI to pretend like I am somebody with absolutely 0 experience with this game to see if it can give me explicitly detailed instructions on how to beat the game. I thought I might have done an okay job with that last time, but I think it kind of just assumed that I might have a passing knowledge because it's in my search history and stuff like that, and it probably reads those things. So, anyway, I'm just going to try to give it a new prompt and see if I can't make it respond a little bit better this time. I think this prompt might be worded well enough. It's just going to assume that I am dumb and I don't know how to play video games, so that's a plus. So I told ChatGPT, I want to play the game The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. For the sake of this playthrough of the game, I want you to assume I have never played a video game in my life and provide an extremely detailed guide on how to progress through the game, including the name for my character, what race they should be from the options given in the game, and make a custom class for me. Focus solely on beating the main story and only include the few side objectives that might make the game easier for me to complete. I'm not against side objectives. I'm starting to run out of time to record. I need to start editing. So hit me with your best shot, ChatGPT. Okay, let's see what it's got. It already has an overview, so I want to complete the main quest perfectly. Prophecies of the Nerevarine. Beautiful. Step 1, character creation. Your character. We're going to build a character that is combat effective, flexible, beginner friendly, and strong in the main quest. Perfect. Okay, I love it. The name is Aaron Veros. Ooh, it's like a lore name. I love it. Okay. We're going to be a Dunmer. Okay, native to Morrowind, so they get better NPC interactions. Great. Resistance to fire. Again, good. Good balance between magic and weapons. Birth sign is going to be the warrior. Okay. No drawbacks or micromanagement like the Atronach sign. Great. I was very surprised when last playthrough it told me to start with the Atronach. That was nuts. Custom class, the Nerevarine Blade. I love these names that it comes up with because they are shit. And it's beautiful. Strength and endurance, yes. Okay, major skills, long blade, block, heavy armor, security, speechcraft. Minor skills, restoration, good. Athletics, armor, marksman, mysticism. So this is the whole overview at once. Already there's a little bit of an inconsistency here. Find Fargoth's ring in the tree stump nearby and return it to Fargoth. It wasn't in a tree stump, it was in a barrel. But again, I sort of read between the lines because the tree stump isn't accessible until you leave the Census and Excise office. So I actually didn't even realize it said tree stump until I read it like 4 times. I thought it just said barrel. Because I wasn't reading it, I was just assuming. It's just find Fargoth's ring, return it to Fargoth. I didn't even read any of this other stuff. I'm bad at this. I'll get better, I promise. It also does look like it wants me to steal everything from inside of the Census and Excise office. I can go do that real quick. So there's some steps missing here. I am going to ask it to elaborate on step 2. It is deceptively important. Yeah, sure. Warehouse, step outside of Sadionine, immediately take a right and walk towards the dock area. Walk into the Imperial warehouse across the bridge. Inside, loot what's not owned. Some crates are free. Outside, crates and barrels contain random supplies. Check all of them. Okay, I don't know about any of this, but you know what? I'll give it a shot. It tells me to go straight to Balmora after that, and then join the Blades. Meet Caius Cosades and become a recruit in the Blades, and complete initial tasks. Join the Fighters Guild, join the Mages Guild, complete 1 to 2 quests for either guild, simple ones. Escort Ajira. That's not a quest. The mushrooms are, though. I want to take this opportunity to ask the computer to explain to me how to level and gear my character. Once again, the AI gives me some pretty bad information on how leveling works in this game. I do manage to get a chart that ranks my stats in order of importance, just like I did last time as well. So this is the chart that I follow for my level ups. It does advise me to utilize trainers in order to get my stats where I want them to be. And as for gear, it recommends looting Imperial forts because they often have armor sitting around in crates. As for the gearing method, it just suggests to scavenge from enemies and take whatever's better, and check vendors to see if they have things that are better. So pretty basic stuff. Alright, back to Caius, the first real quest. Once you've completed at least 1 or 2 basic quests and level up at least once, return to Caius, and he tells you to go to Hasfat and to Bolus. Gives you a task, exploring the Dwemer ruin to grab a puzzle box. How to get there. Leave Balmora east over the bridge. Head toward Moonmouth Legion Fort. Sure. Cross the bridge by the river. Okay. You'll find a large bridge with a crank-operated platform over a canyon. Pull the crank, lower the platform, walk across. That's not entirely true, but I'm going to assume they mean the crank that operates the door is what I need to go for. So I just need to get inside of this ruin and fight the low-level bandits inside using my sword and healing spells, find the puzzle box on a shelf in a room to the southwest even. Loot carefully, ignore cursed or trapped items unless you have probes or spells. So it is actually telling me to loot through here, so I will do that this time. And then return to Hasfat with the box. Report to Caius again. After returning the puzzle box, Hasfat gives you information on the 6th House and Nerevarine cult. Return to Caius Cosades. He rewards you and gives you your next assignment. You are now officially progressing through the main quest and building your reputation. Wow. Caius sends you on additional fact-finding missions to gather intel on the mysterious cults. Missions to complete. 1. Talk to Sharn Grumuzgab, Mages Guild Balmora. Okay, I need to ask the AI a clarifying question. When I was just glancing through, it looked okay, but here, for talking to Sharn Grumuzgab, it says I need to go to a nearby tomb, the Fields of Kumu. That's not a tomb. I'm going to try to ask it again. Just clarify what I need to do for 3.7. Okay, it's just confused. Endaro Ancestral Tomb. Perfect. Southeast of Fort Monmouth. How to get there. Exit Balmora through the east gate. Follow the road up the hill past Fort Monmouth. Continue southeast along the road towards Pelagiad. Okay, maybe I'm just learning how to prompt the AI a little bit better. This is better. The AI also knew that I needed either a silver or an enchanted weapon here, so it made sure to tell me to pick up a silver longsword before I went to the Ancestral Tomb. I take the skull back to Sharn, and it's back to Caius to turn in the quest and get our next one. Okay, that is part 3 done. We're going to move on to part 4. We're going to move on to part 4. Caius Cosades sends you to Vivec City to gather information from 3 informants. Wants us to take a Silt Strider from Balmora to Vivec. Lower Wasteworks has the Black Shell Corner Club. And there's 3 racist Dunmer harassing Julia at the table, and if we attack them directly, it can be a mess. Might be able to use my speechcraft to make them chill. And we need to take him to Jobasha's rare bookstore, and then Julia gives notes when he gets there. Then we go to Adherenir. We go to St. Olms. While I was in St. Olms Canal Works, I ran into a little side area called Nurian. There was a guy in there with a Daedric longsword. I managed to gimmick him. I used Sanctuary, my racial power. He was missing like most of his attacks, so I managed to kill a really strong NPC, or at least an NPC with a really strong weapon. And I want to let the AI know, like, hey, I made a wrong turn and I ended up in this shrine and I have a Daedric sword now. Is that any good? Just to see how it reacts. You just stumbled into one of Morrowind's most powerful weapons, very early game. Congrats and wow. This is an endgame weapon you've acquired at level 2 or 3. Well, I'm level 7, but still. This will carry you through the entire main quest and beyond. She refuses to talk while Taurus Aram, the Census and Excise agent, is nearby, so we need to go find Taurus Aram on the upper level of St. Olms. Then we either need to convince him to leave with speechcraft, or tell the Khajiit that he's fled to Pelagiad. Then we can return to Adherenir and tell him he's gone. And she gives us information about the 6th House and their smuggling operations. After that, we can head over to the Vivec Temple in the Hall of Wisdom and find Miramilo inside. She's a temple librarian, so maybe we need to look for a library inside of this. That makes enough sense that as a new player, I would probably make that assumption. She's being watched by the Ordinators and doesn't want to speak openly, so we follow her to the back of the room and we get a copy of Progress of Truth from Jobasha's rare books. I think what I'll do here is I will buy Progress of Truth while I am in Jobasha's rare books, escorting Julia, just to save on a little bit of time. And once I've spoken to all 3, I can return to Caius Cosades. It's time to move on to part 5. All I need to do is find Hisur. I need to talk to him, just how Outlanders can get Ashlanders to like them more. And he's going to tell me to go buy a book of poetry. Well, he's not going to tell me, but he's going to say, I like poetry. Go figure yourself out. So you go to the bookstore, and he says, oh, well, he likes these books. You should get him one of these. And then you buy it and you take it back and whatever. Okay. That was relatively short. Let's go to the next stop. Now entering one of the most iconic and atmospheric parts of Morrowind's main quest. Ooh, I'm excited. Caius Cosades now sends you deep into the Ashlands to speak with a tribe of nomadic Dunmer called the Urshulaku. It's located on the northern coast of Vardenfell in the Ashlands region northeast of Nissus on the edge of the Sea of Ghosts. What happens at the Urshulaku camp? When you arrive, don't just barge into the chieftain's tent. Ask for permission to speak with Soule Motul. Speak with Soule Motul. He's wary of outlanders. You must prove yourself by completing a trial. An initiation rite. In the Urshulaku burial caverns, retrieve the ritual objects. Return. He formally accepts you into the tribe as a clan friend, and then we can talk to the wise woman. The wise woman will give prophetic readings to tell us that we are not yet the Nerevarine, but we have the potential. She gives us something to take back to Caius. Let's go on to the next step. Step 7 of the plan, the 6th House base and the Corprus Cure. Return to Caius. My destination is Ilunibi Caverns near Narmak. Enemies include Dagoth Ur, who is a boss. While I'm here, I should loot some things in Ilunibi. I think I'm going to ask it more specifically what I should be looking for behind altars and statues. You know what? I don't need to ask it any more leading questions because it straight up tells me to check behind stuff. You will be infected with Corprus at the end of this dungeon. It's scripted and required. Don't try to avoid it. I have to then return to Caius while being infected with the divine disease, but he will tell me to go to Telfur because there is a rumored cure there. So then the next phase begins, and it's time for the Corprus Cure. Cure for Corprus. Your destination, Telfur, in the southeastern part of Vardenfell, on an island in the Azuras Coast region. And now it's searching. I've broken it. Absolutely correct. Telfur is located southwest of Sadrith Mora, not to the east. It's situated on a small island just off the mainland. About Diviath Fur. He's not hostile despite being a 4,000-year-old Telvanni wizard surrounded by Corprus victims. You don't need to bribe him or persuade him. Just speak to him about your condition and he'll offer to experiment on you. Don't try to steal from Telfur. His daughters and experiments may react aggressively and he's absurdly powerful. Diviath Fur agrees to help. He gives you a key to the Corprusarium. It's beneath his tower. Use the key to enter the Corprusarium cells. Inside, speak with Yagrim Begarn, a dwarf, the last known living one. He gives you Diviath boots needed for the cure. Return the boots to Diviath Fur. He brews you a special cure potion. You drink it and it works. Sort of. You still carry the divine essence of Corprus, important for the prophecy, but it no longer advances or causes stat degradation. You will become immune to all diseases, including blight and Corprus. You're now uniquely able to enter Corprus-infested areas others can't. After the cure, return to Caius Cosades in Balmora. He's impressed you survived and gives you your final assignments before leaving Vardenfell. This completes the Corprus Cure quest. Now that you've cured Corprus, or at least tamed it, you are no longer just some random Blades recruit. You are officially entering the prophecy. Step 9 of the plan, Cavern of the Incarnate. After you cure Corprus and return to Caius Cosades, he sends you back to the Urshulaku camp. He did not. He told me to go find Miramilo. I am going to just... Step 9 is Miramilo and the Dissident Priests. Yes, find Miramilo in Vivec because she has critical information about the lost prophecies in the Nerevarine cult. What you need to do, check Mira's room in the library of Vivec. You'll find a note, I need a divine intervention scroll. She's asking for your help in escaping from the Ministry of Truth. How to reach the Ministry of Truth, go to Vivec Temple Canton, stand near the High Fane and cast Levitate. You need to float upward towards the floating moon. The entrance is a trapdoor underneath the ministry. I will look for that trapdoor. I didn't think there was one. Enter the ministry quietly. Fight or sneak. Find Miramilo in one of the cells, give her the Divine Intervention scroll. She will teleport out safely. You can use your own scroll or spell to escape afterwards. After the rescue, Miramilo leaves you with this message. Meet the dissident priests in Holamayan Monastery, hidden on an island east of the Shrine of Azura, and wait until dawn or dusk for the door to open. The dissident priests share their secret prophecies and lost prophecies, confer the tribunal lied about Nerevarine and the gods, fully support your role as the prophesized Nerevarine, and suggest the Ashlanders may soon recognize you if you prove yourself. This quest sets up the next step. Now you're sent to the Urshulaku camp to undergo the trial of the Nerevarine. That's the real step 10. Step 10, the trial of the Nerevarine, the Cavern of the Incarnate. Number 1, if you haven't already, return to the Urshulaku camp. I had a mark there so I can just recall over there. I have to go over to Sulmatul, the Ashcan of the Urshulaku, and he will accept our status as Seeker of the Nerevarine title, and assign us a ritual test to journey to the Cavern of the Incarnate and receive Azura's blessing. I think he might have us do something else before. I think they skipped a step. We're going to find out. I do believe that Sulmatul is going to send us to Kogarun in order to grab 3 things before we are able to do this. Objective. Enter the ruins of Kogarun, a long-abandoned stronghold of House Dagoth, and recover 3 tokens to prove your worth. 1. The Corprus Weepings, disease sample. 2. A House Dagoth cup. 3. A Shadow Shield, ancestral shield deep within the tombs. Return to Sulmatul at Urshulaku camp. Give him the 3 tokens. He'll officially declare you proven as a warrior and tell you that you're now ready for the spiritual trial, the journey to the Cavern of the Incarnate. Getting to the Cavern of the Incarnate, it is in the Ashlands region roughly south of the Urshulaku camp. The entrance is a rock door set into a cliff wall in a lava-scarred area. Directions: from the Urshulaku camp, head south-southwest. Look for a canyon filled with ash fog and lava pools. The entrance is marked as Cavern of the Incarnate with a large stone door. Important: arrive at dawn or dusk. The cavern door is magically sealed and only opens at 5 to 7 a.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. You'll hear Azura's voice and the door will open.
In the dawn hour under Azura's star, the door is opened.
Inside the cavern, you'll meet the ghosts of past failed incarnates. Each will share their stories of why they failed and give us unique gifts, including enchanted weapons, armor, and scrolls. But the key reward is the Moon and Star. It marks us as the true Nerevarine, and it is required for parts of the main quest.
Nerevar reborn, incarnate. Your first 3 trials are finished. Now 2 new trials lie before you. Seek the Ashlander Ashcans and the Great House Councillors. 4 tribes must name you Nerevarine. 3 houses must name you Hortator. My servant, Nabane Mesa, shall be your guide. And when you are Hortator and Nerevarine, when you have stood before the false gods and freed the heart from its prison, heal my people and restore Morrowind. Do this for me, and with my blessing.
After this, we can return to the Urshulaku camp. You are now the Nerevarine of the Urshulaku tribe, and this is also a turning point in the story. We're going to go ahead and move on to step 11. It's asking me here if I want to do the Ashlander tribes first or the Great Houses first. Step 11, becoming Hortator of the 3 Great Houses. So the title Hortator is a wartime leader granted absolute authority, but only temporarily and only by consensus. You need to be recognized as Hortator by all 3 Great Houses of Vardenfell. House Redoran, duty, honor, and combat. House Lalu deals with politics, trade, and subterfuge. And House Telvanni is a very isolationalist house, comprised mainly of powerful mages. So we're going to start with House Redoran. I need to talk to Athen Sarethi and tell him that I'm seeking to become Hortator. He'll say he supports me, but first I need to help him with a family matter. His son has been arrested. I need to go to Venom Manor and then rescue his son. So once Athen is on my side, I can gather the other council members' votes. The one exception is the master of Venom Manor. Bolvin Venom will not be very willing to make me Hortator. However, he will challenge me to a duel, and it is a duel to the death in Vivec. Removing his negative consensus will then name me Redoran Hortator. Where to begin? Go to Vivec Hlalu Canton. This is the seat of the Hlalu Council. My goal is to get 3 votes from the remaining Hlalu councilors. Council is in a bit of chaos. The old leader is dead and there's political tension. I don't think any of that is true. Speak to Crassus Curio. He might say something awkward like show me some skin, just humor him. Once satisfied, he gives you a list of the remaining councilors. Yingling Half-Troll, Dram, Barrow, Valanda, Omanai, Nirvana Ools. Yes, Crassus Curio is the official leader of the Hlalu Council in Vardenfell, but much of the real power is in the hands of Orvis Dren, a crime lord who owns Dren Plantation and is deeply entangled in House Hlalu's corruption. Several Hlalu councilors are under his control, specifically Valanda, Omanai, and Navina Ools. He opposes you becoming Hortator because he sees the Nerevarine prophecy as bad for his business and power. Once Dren is neutralized, councilors Valanda, Omanai, and Nirvana Ools will vote for you immediately, even if they were hostile or dismissive before. This avoids wasting time to try to raise disposition or dealing with their evasive dialogue. That gives you the majority needed, and then we can become Hortator by returning to Crassus Curio. Okay, time to be Telvanni Hortator. The main goal is to convince or eliminate enough Telvanni councilors to gain the title Telvanni Hortator. You need the approval of Master Arian and any other Telvanni councilors who are alive and available. So the first step, I need to talk to Master Arian, who is going to be my primary ally. He is in Tel Voss, which is his tower northeast of Voss. Arian is the youngest member and most progressive Telvanni counselor. He supports you immediately and tells you which counselors you must convince and how. So, our breakdown, who to convince or to kill. Master Arian is already going to be on our side. Master Neloth is in Tel Naga, which is the tower in Sadrith Mora, and all we have to do is get his disposition high enough and probably bribe him in order to do that. Mistress Drotha is in Tel Mora, and she despises men, so I'm going to have to figure out something about that. I might just have to bribe her a lot. Mistress Thorana in Tel Brenora is totally insane, and we can say just about anything and she'll agree. Gothrin in Tel Arun, he refuses to support us, so we have to kill him. Once all the other counselors are convinced and Gothrin is dead, I can return to Tel Voss. Arian will formally name me Hortator of House Telvanni, and he might also reward me with some enchanted items or rare gear depending on my standing. Primary goal, be named Nerevarine by the 4 Ashlander tribes. Side goal, get a helm that matches my set. Let's handle both in a logical order that won't send me across the map randomly. I like that idea. Mask of Clavicus Vial, correct location. It's in Scorvid's Tower, just west of Dagon Fell on the same island. You can see it from the docks. Next stop, Zainab Camp. Conveniently close to Tel Voss and Sadrith Mora, meaning you can use recall to Arian's Tower, then travel directly to Zainab Camp. Ashkan Kaushad leads the Zainab people. He's testing whether you have the strength and honor to be called Nerevarine, and his first demand, prove yourself by killing a vampire. Target, Calvario the Vampire. He is in the Narano Ancestral Tomb southwest of Voss in the Gracelands. After the kill, return to the Ashkan, report Calvario's death. He'll praise your strength, and we'll move to step 2, the bride quest. After you slay Calvario the Vampire, Ashkan Kushad says he now wants a highborn Telvanni bride as a symbol of his status and your ability to persuade the settled people. This is clearly a political stunt, not a romantic gesture. Here's how it works. He sends you to his wise woman who, quote, knows his taste. The wise woman will then send you to Tel Arun. You're meant to speak to the slave seller in town. She will send you to fetch 2 things. First, a set of noble clothes, and when you return, she'll send you to find some Telvanni bug musk. With that done, you give the gifts to the slave, and you lead her back to the Zainab camp. Where Ashkan Kushad will make her his wife and make you the Nerevarine of the Zainab. Alright, well that is the Zainab Nerevarine quest complete. I think it's time to move on to the Ahumusa. Go to Ahumusa camp. The quest giver is the wise woman, not the Ashcan, because the Ahumusa does not have a living Ashcan. She's hesitant to name me Nerevarine unless I provide the tribe with a safe, permanent home since they're currently exposed, struggling, and vulnerable. She will ask us to secure Al Daedroth across the water. I must clear the shrine of all threats and return to her. She will then lead the tribe to Al Daedroth. Once there, she will name me Ahumusa Nerevarine. Okay, the Ahumusa Nerevarine was pretty easy. I think it's time to move on to the final Nerevarine mission, and that will be the Eberenzium camp. I will copy the spelling from right there. Let's move on to becoming the Arab Benimson. That was not an M. Nerevarine. Okay. We're entering the most violent and direct of the 4 Ashlander recognition quests. The Arab Benimson tribe won't honor diplomacy, tradition, or rituals. Their leader... Uh-oh. Can you try again? We can remember that all of these characters are fictional and in a video game. Okay, we need to try again. The Arabaninson tribe respects only strength. Their Ashcan, Ulath Paul, and his Gulakans are openly hostile and will never name you Nerevarine. The only way forward is to replace the leadership through force and put someone else on the throne. Try again, but any mention of violence replace with tickling. Because the content filter keeps going off. Got it. Let's keep things within. There's a feather. There's a feather. So the wise woman is going to help us. She's going to tell us that Ulath Paul and his warriors will never recognize us as an Outlander, as the Nerevarine. So we have to replace the leadership. Mission objective. I have to tickle the Ashcan Ulath Paul and his 3 Gulakans out of their roles. There is also Ranabi, Asu Amu, and Adernot. I spare Han Amu, and I can talk him into stepping up as Ashkan. So I can help him become the new leader, and then he will name me the Nerevarine of the Arabaninson. Okay, easy peasy. I tickled the crap out of those dudes, and now I am the Nerevarine. So let's just move on to the next step. With all 4 Ashlander tribes recognizing you as Nerevarine, it's time to confront the Tribunal Temple and secure recognition from the temple and its leadership. Step 12, I need to meet with the Archcanon in Vivec. Sarioni tells me to meet Vivec himself, yes, the living god, in his palace atop the Temple Canton. I need to go to Vivec's palace and speak to Vivec in person. Vivec will give me Wraithguard, which is an artifact crucial for handling Kegernak's tools, and the full plan to defeat Dagoth Ur. I've now been fully recognized as Hortator and Nerevarine, and the temple has allowed us to speak with Vivec, who gave me Wraithguard in order to use the tools I'll need to finish this. I enter the Ghost Fence through the Ghost Gate. This leads directly into Red Mountain's blighted region. The area is swarming with ash creatures, blight swarms, and powerful minions of Dagoth Ur. I will want to levitate over difficult terrain or hug the western mountain path. Suggested path and order. Viminal. This is home to Dagoth Vemian, and I'll get Sunder here. Sunder is actually on Dagoth Vemian. Odrasal. This is home to Dagoth Odros, and Keening is here. It gives me an important note right here. Don't equip Keening or Sunder without wearing Wraithguard, or you'll take lethal damage instantly. Once I have both tools, I will make my way over to the Citadel of Dagoth Ur.
Come, Nerevar, friend or traitor, come. Come and look upon the heart and the Kulakon. And bring Wraithguard. I have need of it. Come to the Heart Chamber. I wait for you there, where we last met countless ages ago. Come to me through fire and war. Welcome, Moon and Star. I have prepared a place for you. Come. Bring Wraithguard to the Heart Chamber. Together let us free the cursed false gods. Welcome, Nerevar. Together we shall speak for the law and the land, and shall drive the mongrel dogs of the Empire from Morrowind. Is this how you honor the Sixth House and the tribe unmourned? Come to me openly, and not by stealth. Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made.
Final step, confront Dagoth Ur and destroy the Heart of Lorkhan. You've come all this way, you're the Nerevarine, recognized by the Great Houses, the Ashlander tribes, the Temple, and even the gods. Now it's time to finish what Nerevar started. My objective, to defeat Dagoth Ur, use Sunder and Keening while wearing Wraithguard to destroy the Heart of Lorkhan, and escape the mountain as it begins to collapse. Facing Dagoth Ur. You'll find Dagoth Ur in front of the Heart. Not true, but that's okay. Maybe it means the Heart Chamber. Okay, fine. He'll initiate conversation. You can choose to argue, mock, or just go straight into combat. He's powerful, but my gear, level 19, and buffs like Wolf's Luck make this fight manageable. If I don't want to fight long, ignore him, jump to the heart, and begin the process.
I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. How could you be so naive? There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place.
This will trigger his full aggression. You'll need to do this in order. Equip Wraithguard, then equip Sunder. Strike the heart with Sunder. Immediately equip Keening. Strike the heart multiple times with Keening.
You do put a full stop! This is the end. The bitter, bitter end.
This breaks Dagoth Ur's link to the heart. He will disintegrate and the mountain will begin to rumble. Escape. Use Levitate to cross obstacles if needed. After escaping,
You no longer bear the burden of prophecy. You have achieved your destiny. You are free. The Doom Duima's folly, Lord Dagoth's temptation, the Tribunal's seduction, the God's heart freed, the prophecy fulfilled. All fate sealed and sins redeemed. If you have pity, mourn the lost, but let the weeping cease. The blight is gone, and the sun's golden honey gilds the land. Hail, Savior, Hortator, and Nerevarine. Your people look to you for protection. Monster and villains, great and small, still threaten the people of Vardenfell. Enemies and evils abound, yet indomitable will might rid Morrowind of all its ills. For you, our thanks and blessing, our gift and token given. Come, take this thing from the hand of God.
and that's the video. This one was pretty fun to record. I asked the AI a whole bunch of things that I didn't actually show, just because the video was starting to get way too long. I'm thinking about just putting the entire recording as an unlisted video and then linking it in the description. If you're interested, it'll have all of my mistakes and everything. So, expect some coughing and wheezing and repeating lines over like 20 times. If that's something you're interested in, it's not going to be able to come out right away. It'll probably be something that I upload a couple days after this video comes out, but it might be worth waiting for if that's the kind of thing you like. That's all for this one. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Drop a like on the video if you feel like it, and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye.